All right, so there you go. I know that some information may be useful to you today or later on this weekend, but there's another one that I know is useful to you and to everyone. That's the issue of infrastructural development and having a sustainable infrastructure development. This afternoon, we'll be looking at the role of engineering. Sometimes we seem to forget them, but here I have with me the president of the Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, that's COREN, Professor Sadiq Subairu Abubakar. Good afternoon, Prof, and thank you so much for joining us right here. And then also Engineer Bikunle Ogumbayo, the Chairman of Lagos State Steering Committee of COREN. Thank you so much, Engineer. Both engineers, anyways, that's why you're part of COREN. So when you look at the issue of infrastructural development, it seems a lot of time we talk about money, funding. Let me start with you, Prof. Where do you find yourself? I don't think we've been hearing a lot about you, and I know that recently you did say that it's because the failure of infrastructure is because of poor regulation. But I bet a lot of Nigerians will say it's because of funding. That's why we're not seeing the development that we need in the area of infrastructure.
Well, thank you very much. Good afternoon, viewers. I believe this subject is a very topical one to talk about sustainable infrastructure development in an economy like that of Nigeria. There are so many, I think, perspective one will look at it, but I think basically what we need is the funding, as you know, has been one of the key challenge because we really don't have the clear institutions in this country, even though there have been attempts to have the infrastructural bank, the industrial, all these institutions that are supposed to make infrastructure development seamless and very easy to handle. Now, this we don't have, and up to this moment, we've been trying to have the normal funding regime that we know, budgetary base and what have you. And no nation, get it right with that because it's going to be a very snail speed approach. And often, it's inflations and what have you, the economic downturn, in the global space will come and impede, a very strategic infrastructure development project. This is on one hand. On the other hand, we have, from our own perspective as engineers, of course, COREN, is the seeming weak regulatory framework and the legal system that is supposed to one endear the investors for them to know that there is a framework that will protect their own investment, and on the other hand, to encourage the homegrown expertise and the homegrown capacity for us to be able to develop our infrastructure, like every other nation that we do it. You often, and thirdly, and I must say that the lack of deliberate patronage of Nigerian capacity to be able to handle infrastructures, compared to the multinationals.
Isn't that because of the lack of confidence in the quality? I think I'll give that to. Isn't that because of the lack of confidence in the quality of the Nigerian skills or personnel? Wow. Isn't that why?
No, it's not. It isn't. Well, in the last 50, 60 years, Nigeria has produced hundreds of thousands of engineering personnel, and they've all done very well. What has happened and what is happening is that there is this perception that if I give it to a Nigerian, he will not be as forthcoming as somebody who comes from outside, who doesn't have any reason to want to make things work well. That person is going to come in and they're just going to go away and with his money in his pocket. We must, number one, begin to build confidence in our own people. We cannot build confidence when you deny them of opportunities. You cannot build competencies if you do not give them a chance. So it's a chicken and egg situation.
So which one will come first? Who's going to take the risk first?
It's not a risk. That is where regulation comes in. If you have the proper regulatory environment, nobody is going to do a silly.
Who's supposed to ensure? I mean, COREN is a regulator. So,
correct.
Because I wanted to say, I mean, you're here. So what stops you from ensuring that the regulatory environment is what it should be to win the confidence of both Nigerians and international markets?
Well, I want to remain with Engineer Gumbayo. It's not the issue of confidence. I believe Executive Order 5 that was ascended by the middle past president. This is one of the key issues in that Executive Order 5, that some percentage of Nigerian infrastructure project must be, and in every country globally, that is the strategy that any nation must adopt. You see, the opportunities is what gives the indigenous, companies the confidence to be able to. We have done 1, 2, 3, 4, and in the 70s, 80s, we have companies that are Nigerian based that were executing mega projects in Africa. Nigerian based companies, not in Nigeria, globally. And then we lost that because of the reduction in patronage. And so the Executive Order 5 that came, when you have, you see, we need to be given that is what you call the white paper that was approved by PEG during Obasanjo's government. And then that was reapproved by Jonathan's government, that we must have consortium, mega consortium that are Nigerian based, to be able to take the advantage of that scale, economic of scale, when you have mega projects. You see, usually, like he said, what we don't seem to have is when you have a mega big project, the mega ones will come outside the country. And then you find ours, when you want to now ask them to put down, delay, the capital lay down, they don't have that capacity. So it's not about confidence. I can guarantee you, a lot of our Nigerian engineers have gone outside and did very well. And maybe what I'll just say...
Did they come back? Because Japa is also a factor here, especially for the young ones.
No, let me say, you see this, that Nigeria is the second country in Africa that has been admitted into the World Engineering Alliance, what you call the World Washington Accord, meaning every Nigerian that is an engineer or a technologist that is certified and registered by COREN can go and work anywhere in the world. The only country that has attained that in Africa is South Africa. Nigeria has gotten that 2023 in Taiwan. So the issue of confidence, everybody knows our capacity and confidence in terms of engineering. Back home here, it is this issue of patronage that is really, really hitting, the local capacity.
So Engineer Gumbayo, what do we do about it now? We know the problem.
You asked about the handicaps that COREN has had about regulation.
Yes.
You know that up till, I think it was the 2024 revision to the Act that sort of COREN could identify somebody who had done something wrong and do a report. But COREN, as a regulator, could not try that person. Could not prosecute that person. Had to pass it to the police or to the Ministry of Justice.
I think that's the norm for a whole lot.
But the problem...
Because it's the police that is supposed to enforce.
But the problem there is that it took ages for people to be... And not only that, we could only actually deal with people who are on a register. So if a non-builder, a non-registered builder goes and builds something and it collapses, there's nothing that COREN can do about it. But that has changed.
Yeah.
We now have
2018.
A new act that enables us to be more proactive, and this is where the regional steering committees come in. That new structure enables us to be closer to things that are happening. And because we are closer to things that are happening, we are able to deal more quickly with such infractions.
Okay, all right, Engineer Ogunbayo, just hold your thoughts there because I would like to know what you want to do with this empowerment that you now have. But first of all, our viewers who are watching us on DSTV, you're still in Lagos, but now you're going to where the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure is commissioning the Chief Yesufu Abiodun Niru Akiogun Road. It's an alternative route to Admiralty Circle Plaza in Lekki at Abudu Smith Street in Etiosa local government area. That's where our DSTV viewers are going to, but other platforms, we are still here on Business Incorporated. So I'm just, Engineer Ogunbayo, I want to know, so now you have the power.
Yes.
What are you doing? What do you plan to do?
Thank you very much. There are three aspects to this. There's regulation, there is education, then there's training. When I say training, I mean continuous professional development. I'll start with that, is that once a man or a woman has graduated from any engineering-based college, that's just the beginning. You must now go through a tutelage. That tutelage then means that that person will have to continuously train him or herself, and in that process will gain knowledge. And if there's an infringement, the law that sets up COREN also allows that person to be disciplined. So we are going to be more
Even
active.
if the person is not a member of COREN?
As long as that person, no, even if it's not. What the law now says is that your own people, the engineering personnel, and I use the word engineering personnel because it's not only engineers, it's technologists, artisans, everybody in the engineering field, family fall under the COREN regulation. So if any person that does something, there are two things. You can either be prosecuted criminally or civilly, or you can take away his license to practice. That can happen. But anybody else would be prosecuted in conjunction with the proper authorities within the states. So we do have the power now to do things. We can be more proactive, and that is what we're doing. That's what we're setting up now.
So, Prof, what difference can we expect now? We're talking about sustainable development infrastructure. COREN has been empowered. What difference can we expect, and how soon? You know, we're Nigerians, we're very patient.
Yeah, I like this. We now have, let me elaborate a little bit from what my senior said. We now have a tribunal. We have been empowered and it has been established. The tribunal means a tribunal that tries our registrants that are culpable. And like he said, we have categories. The engineers, the technologists, the technicians, the craftsmen, and the artisans now have been added. We have this tribunal and we have an investigation panel. We now have deployed and repositioned ourselves with whistleblowers all over the country in the 36 states. We now have what we call intelligence gathering and a surveillance team. And then we now have cascaded down the authority of the council that is for over 50 years, been centrally placed. We now have decentralized it. We now have 6 regions. And we have what we call regional steering committees that the council has donated their authority and powers to. Engineer Ogunbayo is one of the chairmen of the regional steering committee based in Lagos, meaning there will be, COREN is more responsive. Immediately we have infractions through our whistleblowers, through the intelligence gathering, through the surveillance. The regional steering committee under his, by the way, Engineer Ogunbayo was a former COREN president. So all our regional steering committees in the several regions are being led by either COREN, past COREN president or past COREN registrars. And then with the composite of experienced and current council members who are residing in that region. So we have, more intersection with the grassroots. We have more opportunity to be able to investigate any infraction, and then quickly the tribunal will now take off. And like you said, the tribunal has the capacity, the authority to take away your license, to discipline you. Now, the other side, which he started, is that for a non-registrant of COREN, like what you call the quacks, if you are not...
You say anybody who is not in COREN is a quack?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
if you go and practice any of the engineering practices
Without being licensed.
without having the certification and the license of COREN, even if you are an engineer, you are a quack, technically. And if we discover you, you are culpable, and we are going to punish you according to the law that normally the regulatory councils, not only COREN, have been given this subsidiary opportunity to make subsidiary laws. And that law that we normally do is what we call regulations that we gazette. So if we go anywhere and we find, for example, an engineer who is maybe 30 years graduate, and he's not registered with COREN and he's practicing, and we apprehend him, he's a quack. We are going to treat him not as a registrant, but we'll carry him to the police. We have MOUs with ICPC, with civil defense, with immigration, because we have been given the teeth to bite in terms of enforcement. Now, this is what we have in each state. We have what you call state technical committees, which the governors come and inaugurate. Now, these technical committees are the ones that are policing any infrastructure development where you are having, sharp practices or you're having quackery. I'm sure you are very conversant with this, incessant building collapse. Everybody say building collapse, building collapse. Now, in that case, the practitioners are many. The engineers are there, the architects are there, the builders are there, the quantity surveyors are there. So we came and formed what we call FORBEN, the Forum for Practitioners in the Built Environment, so that we'll be able to do this enforcement and this regulation more effectively.
All right. Well, now you have the teeth to bite.
Well, just to answer your question, I know you are still calling about this infrastructure. Infrastructure deployment and procurement and delivery can only happen where you have competent people. And that is where COREN is at now. That we are going to ensure that our own practitioners are competent.
All right. Thank you so much, Professor Sadiq Zubiru Abubakar, President of Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, that's COREN, as well as the Chairman, Lagos State Steering Committee Engineer Bikunle Ogumbayo. Thank you so much. Use your teeth well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure.
All right, let's take a break now. When we come back, we'll head to the market, still here on Business Incorporated. Stay with us.
Thank you.